Start position, closed fader, and now the first movement is open and remove the record in shape of a note so that we obtain the kick drum. Now, from this positioning, we play the 2-click flare performance at a backward motion, and this is basically a 2-click flare backward. That means first closing, transformer click, opening. And now, what's happened? The fader's open and we are at the beginning of the sound. And now the next symbolistic is a note in a higher range of the staff, and this symbolistic here over the staff stands for the closing motion. And look in the video, Dutch, we play the snare in this way, okay? Once again, open, note, closing E-tone, transformer click, opening, we are at the start point, and then so, and when we play this movement continuative and a little bit faster, like this then. Okay, this is the first quarter of our pattern. I add a hi-hat over this and play it once again. Okay, what's happening at next? We see after the snare a 1/16 rest, okay? We got now time to move the record back to the kick drum once again. So, or to the kick drum. The kick drum is the sound which follows after the snare. So, and then follows the same type of sequence at the beginning. That means we start with the kick drum in a higher motion intensity, as in 1/16, we open the fader and then we move the record back. But now it's important that we move the record back to the start point of the kick drum, because we want to play the kick drum after this E-tone once again. But a little bit later, we started first with this 2 symbolistic here, and this is first a note, a forward motion, and we open, and then follows this E-tone. And this uppercase letter D for the crossfader sequence denotes that we play this E-tone with a cut point inside, and this is basically a reverse 1-click flare sequence. Okay? How it looks can we see right now in the video. Open and a note, and then a E-tone, and we set a cut point. Like this, once again. This is basically really simple. And this was from the beginning. So, and now this, as a rhythmical performance is very important, to feel the groove by playing, okay? Try it. Like do 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 do. So a hi-hat over this. So, okay, what's happening after this? We see at next, now the red market area, we see at next once again the kick drum, okay? This is the same symbolistic like here. And then we move the record back. And now we move the record back to the start point to finally arrive once again the very first beginning of the phonetic recording. And this is the requirement to play then the snare. Okay, but not so fast. We start at first with this part, the last part, and then the new part. That means kick drum and the E-tone in direct succession. But now it's important that we involve over this type of sequence the 2-click flare performance. You can see this right now. This is the first beginning here. Open and note. Then E-tone and we open, and now you can see it's a little bit too fast here in the video, that I start in direct succession a note and I close the fader and then a E-tone, and we incorporate a transformer click in the open motion over this. Like this. And now we are, you have heard this, we are at the start point. That means we can play now the snare. Once again, we start from here. That means note and we open like this. Then E-tone and we set a cut point into this. And now the fader's open, we are at the beginning of the kick drum, and now follows at first a note and we close like this, and then transformer click and opening for the backward motion. And now we are at the start point, and we can play after this. You can see now the red marked area, this symbolistic, and this stands for the snare, and we can play in direct succession then the snare. Like this. This is the same methodology like the beginning here. Yeah, and this is basically our pattern, because only what we do now is to connect these two parts. Okay, I want to do this right now in the video. So, and now a little bit faster. So, and finally, the double time performance. So, yeah, finally I want to point out the advantages of the S notation becomes prominent when we work with pattern like this. At the first sight, some people think that the music or the motion sequences of a turntablist are very difficult to play, very difficult to understand. But this type of methodology define the single stages on the crossfader and on the record. And when you understand this type of thinking, that's very important, then you understand the musical art of turntablism. I think the S notation is a very important tool for the future of turntablism.